A couple of years went by, and the parents have not seen Kyle or heard from her since Hiroto's third birthday party. Yua was 11 years old, but she wasn't allowed to leave her house on her own, not without her parents at least. Yua was in her bedroom, putting on a cloak on her. Normally she wouldn't put on any of her clothing, rather than her usual clothing, but this was an exception. Yua really wanted to explore Kokoriko on her own. However, Kiki and Tombo wouldn't allow that, since Yua's cloak came with a hood. That way no one would recognize who she was. Her bird companion named Apollo was curious at what the young witch was up to. "What are you doing?" Apollo squawked. "Oh, hey, Apollo. I'm just going to head out to explore Kokoriko on my own," Yua answered. "But you can't go out on your own, Yua. Your parents are trying to keep you safe," Apollo replied. "They're just overprotective of me. I just wish they'd give me my freedom," Yua sighed in frustration. "I understand that they worry about me, but I don't care anymore. I want to be out on my own at some points in time. I'm not ready to leave home, but when I will leave once I'm ready. I'll talk Kiki along with..." But before Apollo can finish speaking, Yua grabbed her bird's beak and held it shut. "Don't tell anyone about this. I could get in trouble if you tell my parents," Yua said sternly. "So keep this between us and don't tell anyone. I'll be back in a while and no one would notice that I was out." As Yua said that to her bird, she snuck out of the bakery without being noticed by her parents. Hiroto had snuck out of his house in Slag Ravine the next before, or because Shita and Patsu wouldn't let him explore on his own. So Hiroto put on some rags, that way no one would recognize him. He was wandering around the streets of Koriko. Yua wandered off into the marketplace. She can see so far that no one has suspected or noticed her in disguise. Yua walked over to some people selling stuff in the marketplace. She even can see that the sweet shop was not far from where she was. A boy dressed in wet rags walked inside the sweet shop, and as Yua looked in her small bag she carried with her, she could see that she has got some money with her, and was thinking of what to get when the flames were about to flare up. Hiroto accidentally knocked into the gumball machine, knocking it over. "Hey, what's your problem?" the woman snapped. She was the owner of the sweet shop and was not happy. "I spent all day storing those gumballs and that." Look, miss, I'm sorry for knocking it over. I tripped and knocked it over. I'm really sorry," Hiroto said. This made the woman walk over towards her. "Sorry doesn't even count, Sonny. You could have hurt someone because of your clumsy behavior," the woman replied angrily, picking up Hiroto. "Just put me down," Hiroto shouted. "Or what? What are you gonna do about it?" the woman taunted. Suddenly, Yua then stepped in and put a stop to the hustle. "Do nothing about it," Yua demanded. He only said he was sorry, and he didn't mean to knock over your gumball machine." "Huh?" Hiroto was confused. He had no idea what this girl was talking about. "You shouldn't be such a grouch over a small accident. It's just a gumball machine," Yua said. "He doesn't mean to knock it over, so I suggest you put that boy down." "Fine," the woman said. She then dropped Hiroto and leaving the two alone to go to the back room. "What are you doing?" Hiroto whispered as he and Yua made their way out of the store and they walked down the street. "Just play along," Yua replied, smiling at the boy. Then they headed down the street. There was a festival not far from where the sweet shop was. Today is the annual Sweet Festival. Do you like festivals? Sure. I haven't been to one in a while," Hiroto said. "The last time I went to one was a few years ago." "Oh, I have been to one every year," Yua replied. "So you want to get some sweets?" "Sure, sounds good to me," Hiroto answered. Then the two headed off to the sweet festival. Hiroto and Yua didn't recognize each other since they were both in disguise. When they brought some sweets and from the sweets festival, they headed off to a beach where the blimp was when Kiki and Tombo were young. "This is where my parents got to know each other," Yua said. Then she looked at Hiroto. "It was when my mother was 13, and when she met my father in Koriko. They have a lot in common, and they eventually fell in love." "You look familiar in that cloak. Are you what I think you are?" Hiroto asked. Yua was a little shocked at first, with her face blushing madly. Maybe," she said. Hiroto began to burn his curiosity. He then looked down and saw a bracelet on her wrist. It had a miniature broomstick matched to her adoration of her mother. Wait, Hiroto said. Are you? But before he could finish his sentence, Yuwa said finished for him. Yes, I am, Yuwa. Remember me when you saved me from 8 years ago? Hiroto's eyes flew open in realization. Yuwa, he said. It's you! They finally share a friendly embrace. It's been so long, Hiroto said. Yeah, Yuwa replied. It sure has been. My parents wouldn't let me go out on my own just to see you, Hiroto said. My parents are the same, but I just don't understand why, Yuwa replied. I'm 11 years old and I should be allowed to be on my own. Same with me, Yuwa. I am 11, but my parents won't let me explore on my own. Hiroto agreed with Yuwa. They're somewhat overprotective of me. I'm guessing they tried to tend to worry about their own kids. Yeah, Yuwa said, nodding her head. Parents are worried about their kids, but in your case, as mine as well, our parents should be able to trust us going alone. Oh yeah, Hiroto said. It can wear the kids out if the parents are overprotective 24/7. Yuwa said, nodding her head. She then decided to change the subject and asked, Other than that, how has it been going? Well, it's been going all right, Hiroto said. My dad's teaching me on how to work in the coal mine. My mom's been teaching me how to fly on a broomstick, Yuwa replied. Your mom flew on a broomstick before? Hiroto asked in amazement. Yeah, Yuwa answered. In fact, she's even have her own flying delivery service with Anton Sano. Well, that's cool, Hiroto said, with Yuwa nodding her head in return. I remember you and your mother talking to my parents about that. I believe she delivered something from my mom the other day. You did? Yuwa asked. Yeah, I did. I was working in the coal mine during her visit, so when I did see her, Hiroto replied. Nice. I was in disguise so that no one would recognize who I am. That's only my way I get around without my parents noticing, Yuwa said. Well, that's what I call stealthy, Hiroto said, complimenting her. Yuwa blushed at his comment. I mean, hey, I gotta get out alone on my own one of these days, Yuwa answered. True, Hiroto said. Then there was a splash in the water. Hiroto could see a dolphin jumping up through the waves. A dolphin, he pointed out. Wow, I can see the dolphins. This is an amazing sight. You don't see this often, Yuwa replied. I have a younger sister now, and she's 6 years old, Hiroto said, going to another subject. Nice, I've always wanted a sister or a brother, Yuwa replied. My parents just never had time for another baby. Being the only child is fun, but lonely as well. I hear ya, Hiroto agreed. It's nice to watch dolphins at the sea, Yuwa said, seeing a few more dolphins jumping in the water. Yeah, it's nice to see them go in and out of the water, Hiroto said, when he and Yuwa watched the sunset beyond the waves. It's getting late. I think we should head home. Oh, that's right. Our parents would worry if we didn't get home, Yuwa replied, so she and Hiroto were walking to the bakery together. Upon getting close to the bakery, Shita and Patsu, along with Kiki, Tombo, Fukio, and Osano were also inside. The police were in there as well, most likely due to Hiroto and Yuwa sneaking out. Upon entering the bakery, the police looked at the two kids. Hello there. Are you here to buy or browse the bakery? One of the policemen asked. Well, you see, Hiroto began, before his disguise was given away when he tripped and everyone gasped at this. Hiroto was wearing a disguise the whole time. Hi, Hiroto said. Hiroto, Shita said. We were so worried sick about you. Care to explain why you left home all alone? Kika asked Yuwa. Mom, Yuwa explained. I was not alone. I was with Hiroto. Did you two even stop to think about how much we worry about the both of you? Patsu asked, crossing his arms. We were just at the beach, Hiroto stated. It's not that big of a deal. Why are you treating us like we're kids? Yuwa asked. There's a thing going around, Yuwa, Tombo stated, and that is called being overprotective of you. You called yourselves being protective? Yuwa asked. Overprotective is more like it. She walked to her room, but not before looking back at Hiroto and waving goodbye at him. Hiroto waved goodbye to Yuwa as well. Hiroto, Shita said, crossing her arms, is there anything you would like to say to us? Hiroto turned to his parents and said, I just wish you guys would get off my back for once. He stormed off to the coal mines, leaving the two parents and Yua's parents by themselves. As Yuwa ran to her room, she ran into Gigi. Wait, Yuwa, he called. What happened? Whatever my parents are my parents or not, I just wish they would stop treating me like a baby, Yua said before entering the room. Oh, Yua, Gigi called after her. Wait a minute, we could talk this over. But his cat fell on his deaf ears because she slammed the door. His wife Lily walked up towards Gigi. She felt concerned when she saw his ears lowered. What happened, Gigi? Lily asked. Yua's going through a thing called preteen drama with her parents, Gigi answered. She'll feel better by tomorrow, hopefully. I'm sure she will. Kiki and Tombo are overprotective of her, Lily said. Maybe she'll talk to us in the morning. Oh, I sure hope so. I remember when Kiki and Tombo had an argument, Yua acted just as stubborn as Kiki was. But I'm sure she'll come around, hopefully, Gigi sighed. After Shita and Patsu headed home, Hiroto was in his bedroom for the rest of the night. After scolding their son for his actions, Shita and Patsu were in the dining room. They had been thinking about this stuff over and over, and it had been eating them up for quite some time. Man, I just don't get it, Patsu sighed in frustration. Hiroto should have told us where he was going, then we wouldn't be so hard on him. I know what you mean, Patsu. I just don't want my baby getting hurt. He is my son, and I can give him benefit of the doubt, Shita explained. He is 11, and I do understand that he wants his independence. Maybe we should teach him self-defense, Patsu said. That way he'll be able to save not only himself, but also for his loved ones. Well, we could, Shita thought, but who would exactly teach him? We don't usually use self-defense that much, because we're basically not in real danger all the time. Dola can do that, Patsu explained. She is even the captain of her pirate crew after all. Shita pondered at the thought. But if she did not want her son getting hurt or worse, well, I don't know, she said. I think maybe we should keep an eye on him until he's old enough to fight for himself. True, Patsu said, but our man's about to grow up, so maybe we should not only keep an eye on him, but we can also allow Dola to become a master in self-defense. After giving her husband's consideration much thought, Shita let out a sigh and said, well, okay, we'll see how it goes. Back in Koriko, Kiki and Tombo were sitting down at the bakery with Osano and Fukio. Kiki felt like she was a bad mother. I feel like I'm a failure to you all, Kiki said, placing her hand on her forehead. Her husband Tombo did his best to comfort her, whereas Osano had gave her a glass of water. You're not a bad mother, Kiki, Osano said. I remember taking part of that at Kito's mood swings as a teenager. Oh yeah, Fukio said. Pre-teenagers are on the other hand. They can be know-it-alls. Osano nudged her husband in the stomach and with her elbow. Ow! Fukio exclaimed, rubbing his stomach. Maybe we should give Yua some freedom. With some boundaries, of course, Kiki suggested. I do know that she wants her independence, but me and Tombo just worry about her. I worry about her too, but I think we should give her some freedom. With boundaries, of course. Maybe we could teach her how to defend herself, Tombo said, liking Kiki's idea. She'll be turning 13 in 2 years, and she'll be going for a year as a trainee for witches. You're right on that, Tombo. We'll do that for her, Kiki replied. Tomorrow morning, I'll talk to Yua. Sounds good to me. I'm sure she'll be feeling better by tomorrow morning, Osano added. The rest of the night was peaceful, with Kiki and Tombo's worry on Yua. It still lingers on to them. For whatever reason, they'll make it through somehow.